Please welcome ADL's Senior Vice President for International Affairs, Ambassador Marina Rosenberg.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks to all of you for being here with us today. As we all know, since October 7th, we have experienced a surge in anti-Semitism, not just here in the US, but around the world. In addition to the spikes in attacks on Jews and Jewish institutions, we are also contending with the global rise in the number of people harboring anti-Semitic sentiments. This is evidence from the findings of ADL's 2024 Global 100 survey, released in January, which examined anti-Semitic attitudes in 103 countries and territories around the world. The results are quite shocking. The survey found that 46% of the world's adult population, an estimated 2.2 billion people, harbor deeply entrenched anti-Semitic attitudes. This is more than double compared to ADL's first worldwide survey a decade ago, and the highest level on record since ADL started tracking these trends globally. In some spaces, anti-Semitism has become normalized and excused, spreading its poisonous tentacles across the globe. No Jewish community has been immune from this phenomenon. From Australia to Chile, from Canada to the UK, and from South Africa to the US, our communities are facing an onslaught of hate, unprecedented in our lifetimes. One of the main tools ADL employs to combat anti-Semitism is education. This includes ADL's cornerstone Words to Action program, which provides tools for Jewish youth to understand and effectively address anti-Semitism, anti-Israel bias, stereotypes, prejudice, and hate speech. During 2024, across Latin America and Europe, ADL trained around 3,000 Jewish youth and adults across 21 countries. We have also leaned heavily into our advocacy work, lobbying governments to issue national strategies to combat anti-Semitism and calling for the widespread adoption of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, as well as the adoption and implementation of the global guidelines for combating anti-Semitism. But ADL cannot do this work alone. I want to recognize the nearly 300 international participants who are in attendance here today at Never Is Now, including dozens of Jewish communities leaders from around the world and members of the J7 task force representing the 7 largest Jewish communities outside of Israel, which ADL co-founded. We are so fortunate to work in close partnership with your communities, to support one another in difficult moments, and to share best practices on how to effectively combat all forms of hate. Thank you all for being here with us today. I also want to recognize special envoys to combat anti-Semitism that have traveled from different regions and the many diplomats in attendance. We are grateful for your presence and hope today's conference helps illuminate for you and for your government the many challenges facing Jewish communities around the world. In these difficult and dark moments, it is important to focus on points of light, which lend us much-needed hope and strength. Since October 7th, the bonds of global Jewish community have tightened, and our connection to Israel and Israeli people have grown closer. Perhaps more than anything, it has been heartwarming to observe the resilience of Israeli people in the face of numerous daunting threats and challenges, including the hostages, the war in Gaza, attacks from Iran and its regional proxies, and international hostility. Despite all of this, the people of Israel remain strongly committed to the security and overall well-being of the Jewish state. I now want to call your attention to the screens behind me for a short video presentation highlighting the resiliency, hope, and strength of Israelis in the face of so much pain and trauma.